Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am Joey Francis, your life, love, and relationship coach. First and foremost, I want to thank you so much for joining me. We've spoken already about being ready, and being ready for what exactly? Being ready for a serious relationship, being ready to get yourself back out there, being ready to make new friends. This week, I want to talk about how do we do that? And more specifically, online dating, since that seems to be the most popular way. And it's one that I actually agree with, to be quite honest with you. So, just to touch base, there are obviously other ways than online when it comes to meeting people. We can meet people organically, through friends, through colleagues at work, at the grocery store, obviously. There's many different ways that we can meet people. The thing is as we get older, we have less time to waste on such things. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Being more efficient when it comes to meeting people, and obviously when it comes to dating. So let's imagine how it used to be, where during the week we're obviously working or we're in school, and it comes to the weekend and this is when we're going to go out. So whether it be a Friday or Saturday night, we're going to put time in getting ready, getting dressed up, picking a place, going to a place, and hoping that somebody comes and talks to us, or hoping that as a guy, a woman will crack a smile or look in my direction, give me the okay to approach her and talk to her. Or just approach anybody and talk to them and roll the dice whether they're actually single or not. See, that's the key. Because obviously not everybody that goes out is single and looking to meet somebody. Sometimes we're out for friends' birthdays, anniversaries, work parties. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're in the mood or open to meeting new people. But nonetheless, that's what happens back in those days. And we would try. Get shot down, get a phone number, who knows? And if it didn't happen on a Friday, maybe it happened on a Saturday. And see, even if we would do so and be successful in every week that we would go out, there is a little thing called chemistry. Now, chemistry is a very important and wonderful thing when it comes to two people coming together. But here's the thing. Chemistry could also be the downfall. The reason that we waste so much time on a specific person. Because we have this physical, in-person connection with them. We tend to maybe look the other way when it comes to deal breakers and red flags. Convincing ourselves that maybe things will be different. Maybe we'll be able to deal with it in the future. Maybe the person will change. Maybe we will change. And all these maybes. And what we're actually doing is gambling our future happiness on very specific variables changing. As opposed to what I feel is even more important, accepting someone as they are standing in front of you. See, it's that chemistry that gives us an anchor to hold on to, that allows us to convince ourselves that it's worth our time and it's worth our while. Now, let's change it and look at online dating. So, the first benefit when it comes to online dating is that we can be doing it at any time, at any place, on any day. And chances are we're doing it at our convenience. It's not like we're dropping anything. It's not like we have to get ready. We're just opening up our phone and going online. Yeah, there is less personal attachment to this. But see, this is why I think it's beneficial. Because if we match with someone, we're given an opportunity to talk to them. No chemistry to get involved, nothing to essentially put on rose-colored glasses, nothing to skew our vision. We can figure out whether somebody has or doesn't have the qualities we want or don't want in another human being in regards to finding a partner. We can have conversations with these people. We can figure out whether our values are similar or our future outlooks are the same. Because another, I know, wild tangent, but another key factor in finding a partner that I believe is that as human beings, we're always changing and always evolving. So it's not only so much to finding somebody that has the qualities we're looking for or doesn't have the qualities we don't want, but it's somebody that we can potentially grow with as opposed to grow apart from. Now, if you think back to our relationships when we were in our teens and 20s and maybe even our 30s, that we notice we could find somebody that is very similar to us and wants the same things as us. But for some reason, as we were together, we grow apart. Well, not me, but people out there that it's happened to, or people that have come to me and told me that it's happened to them. And this is why I find that finding somebody that you can grow with is extremely important. Nonetheless, let's go back to what I was talking about. So online, you're given the opportunity to actually talk to people. And this is why another very important factor before we're jumping online, before we're going out and putting ourselves out there to date, is to figure out the things we want and the things we don't want. Obviously, there's going to be no concrete answer because, again, we're always evolving, we're always changing. Something that may have been a deal breaker 10 or 15 years ago, we might not care about so much today. So sit down with yourself and try your best to literally write a list. And I'm talking about the things that you need in another person, not the things you would like to have, the things that are absolute deal breakers, red flags, all of this. Write it down. Have a guide so that when you do go online, you can A, steer conversations to figure out these core things. And B, if somebody has or doesn't have the things you're looking for, you walk away. Hey, you know what? Thank you so much. You're a great human being. I don't see this working out. I wish you the best of luck in your future. And that's it. You walk away from it. Because there is no chemistry, there's no physical attachment to this person, it becomes very, very easy. A lot of people tend to ghost. We'll get to that on another episode of this. But doing so, A, is very cowardly, and B, it's usually out of fear because they don't want to make someone feel bad or they're scared of how someone's going to react to this. But when you don't have any attachment to somebody, it becomes easier to let them down and say, hey, you know what? I had a great conversation with you, but you're not the one for me. And that's it, and you move on. That simple. I know. A lot of the things I do say seem easier than they are in real life, but it's still fairly easy to do so when there's no physical attachment. And if there is some sort of chemistry or physical attachment, and then you realize that the person you're dating isn't the person you thought they were, well, I think you should still, be a proper human being and walk away gracefully by letting them know. So, again, going online, you're doing it at your convenience. And then even when it comes to talking to that other person, finding out whether they have the things or don't have the things you want or don't want, you're still doing it at your own convenience. You're not letting it interrupt your life. That's another key point. That's doing it efficiently, as opposed to having to go out, having to meet someone, talking to them, etc., etc., etc. You're saving yourself so much more time this way. Now, there obviously are downsides. We don't have that physical connection, that chemistry. That's going to have to happen in the future at some point. Now, I know a lot of people are against taking the time and talking to someone. They want to know right away whether I have chemistry. And this is what I tend to tell these people. What difference does it make? You're meeting somebody what difference does it make? Because just as much as chemistry is important to you, so is if they're an alcoholic or a drug addict or someone who parties too much or someone who's of a belief that you don't believe or practices a different religion that you can't agree with or has different values from you. And all these other things can literally be solved within a few questions versus, again, getting yourself all dressed up. Or I would hope that you'd be doing that for a date. I know a lot of people these days, the whole let's be comfortable. No. Look good. Getting dressed up, going out, driving there, meeting them, spending time with them. And then here's the other big thing. People, demanding dinner dates of sorts. Why? You don't know this person. What if in the first 5 minutes you are absolutely detested by them? Are you gonna sit there for the rest of the dinner and be like, Jesus, what am I doing? When all you would have to do is either go for a coffee, go for a drink. Something that can literally last 5 minutes or something that can last 5 hours. And it's completely up to you because you can meet someone, you can talk to them. Hey, you know what? This is great. Let's make this longer if we can. Or, hey, you know what? It was nice meeting you. I'm not feeling it. I wish you the best of luck. And off you go. Wasted minimal amounts of time. The key to everything is efficiency because, like I said, we're getting older. We don't have time to play games with people. We don't have time to waste just aimlessly talking to massive amounts of people. And it's funny because I've come across personally myself, as well as heard stories of other people coming across these types of people that want to talk to as many people as they possibly can, whether it be 5, 6, 10, 15 at a time. And it's those people specifically that I will see and say, you know what? You're not ready for anything. You're literally keeping your options wide open because you don't even know what you're looking for. You don't know what you want. And that's fine. Again, being transparent and telling people where you are in life and where you stand is the most important because you're giving someone the option to accept that and continue talking to you or not accept it and walk away, as opposed to leading them on, thinking that they're the one, thinking that you're interested in them specifically and that you want to create something with them. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. It's not cool. Stop wasting people's time. Stop wasting your own time. So, the other online issue that I hear is that people lie. And yeah, that's very, very, very true. People do lie. Me personally, being a guy that's been online dating, I've been catfished probably more times than I can even count. And I understand, obviously, that has to do with, you're talking to someone, you get excited about who they are. Obviously, you've seen pictures of them. You ask them to maybe share more pictures, and you think you're satisfied till you meet them, and they're not the person in the pictures. Happens a lot. And on the opposite side, I've heard from women that guys tend to lie about their age and their height. So, how do we mitigate this? Well, obviously there's ways, because prior to going out with them, you can have a quick video chat. You can ask them to share more pictures. And this is something I definitely recommend doing regardless, is having a phone conversation with someone, because the sound of somebody's voice is so important. It's so important, and so many people just gloss right over it. They just let it go. You have to like how somebody sounds, because if somebody is annoying to you, it's not going to work. It doesn't matter who they are, what they look like. You obviously have to talk to your partner. And if their voice is annoying to you, you're never going to want to listen to them. And that might be a problem. That might be a problem. So in regards to people lie even in person. You can go out to a bar. You can meet someone. They could secretly be married or have a boyfriend or girlfriend, have a second life, and don't have to tell you anything and you'd have no idea, just as much as someone online could lie to you. And I understand that a lot of people, they don't even want to bother getting to know someone unless that they know they're completely physically attracted to them. And I mean, to some degree, I do understand that. That is obviously important, and it's just as important as everything else. So it's just a matter of where are you putting your priority list of importance? Because obviously we do see pictures of people. You can always ask to see more photos if somebody is maybe not forthcoming with the type of photos they have posted. And you can always ask for a video chat. And if somebody doesn't want to share or do any of these things, you can always walk away, because there's always more fish in the sea, so to speak. This is another beauty of online dating, as in you're not stuck to the amount of people in the room as when you go to a bar or a restaurant. And I mean, as human beings, we are creatures of comfort. We tend to frequent similar places, meaning that the same people are going to be at these places. So it's not going to take much time before there's nothing left for us, where we've essentially checked out all the inventory, so to speak, and have now realized that we need to find somewhere new to go. And that's a very tough thing for us to do, because again, as creatures of comfort and creatures of habit, we tend to keep doing the same things, or the similar things at least. Whereas being online, and this is probably one of the biggest benefits, is that it's everybody in your area. People that you would never come across in your normal daily life that literally might live down the street from you. And it's opening up all these different doors and windows to meeting new people and new experiences. So I know a lot of people out there aren't exactly, especially, the over 40 crowd and maybe even the over 30 crowd. But, 30s kind of lived with it, but provided that they haven't been married since they were in their early 20s. But the over 40 crowd hate the idea of having to go online and talking to people and doing that whole thing, because they just don't understand it. But if you take a different approach, if you take this idea of trying to find chemistry and reverse it essentially, and go online and try to talk to people and find people whom you are obviously attracted to, but at the same time has the things and doesn't have the things that you want and don't want in a partner. Make that your goal. Try to find those people to talk to. And if somebody doesn't have or does have the things you want or don't want, walk away. Don't try to sugarcoat it and think, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't a big deal, and start to play that game with yourself, because if they're not it, they are not it. Stop wasting your time. There are so many people out there that each and every one of us, can have exactly what we want. But to do that, we have to figure out what we want to begin with. And that is your homework. Provided you're single. Take the time, figure it out, write it down. And any time that something can come to you, keep it in your headspace, because obviously sitting down with a pen and paper and writing this down isn't necessarily going to be, you're not going to figure everything out at once. It's going to take some time. So just keep it in your head, and every time that something new comes, write it down. And keep going through the list and thinking about each and every item on that list. Is this really that important to you? Is this a deal breaker for you? Or is this something you just would like to have, but you don't need to have it? Think of those things. Get it down. This is the place to start, provided that you're ready. Because that is truly the first and foremost important step, is figuring out whether you're ready or not. And then figuring out what you want and what you don't want. Just need a very good idea and guideline for this. That's your homework. I hope you do it. And if you've made it to the end of this, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate you. I am very grateful for you, and I hope to see you again next week. If by any chance you have questions for me, feel free to send me an email at joeyfrances@gmail.com, and I will answer you, or do my best to answer you, and maybe even have a podcast based on your question so that we can help out everybody else as well. Thank you again, and I wish you good luck.